Quite a shocking end of an era unfolding in London as David Cameron, who spent 6 years as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, steps down. You see him walking right there to the microphones at 10 Downing. This just 3 weeks after the UK voted to leave the European Union. Cameron was a staunch Remain supporter. Taking his place, former Home Secretary and new Conservative Party leader Theresa May. She becomes the second woman in history to hold the title of UK Prime Minister and inherits with it a long list of challenges, of course the most daunting being negotiating the country's exit from the European Union. But, you know, her background, she's the daughter of a vicar, she's the Interior Secretary. People are saying that her business and economics background are lacking. Will she be able to solve Britain's business challenges? Without the EU, must she now turn to smaller countries, say, for example, like Israel, to keep her country's economy afloat? Israel is one of the United Kingdom's top 5 trading partners. U.S., of course, #1. With me now is the former Israel ambassador to the UN and the UK and Hudson Institute Distinguished Fellow Ron Prosor, along with former U.S. ambassador to the European Union, Boyden Gray. Great to have both of you. Ambassador Gray, I'll start with you. The breakup. Now, you have today the Fed president of St. Louis, that's James Bullard, saying, you know what, Brexit will have close to zero impact here in the U.S. I'm not so sure globally. What do you think is the impact?
Well, I think he's right about here in the United States, and the stock market, I think, is reflecting that it's not going to be severe. We are going to suffer a little bit with our exports because of higher dollar, but I don't think it's going to directly affect us. I think it affects Great Britain much more, and it affects long-term, it affects the European Union.
Bingo. You did exactly what I was thinking as well, and that is put it back in the lap of Theresa May, who now has this huge challenge. I go to you, Ambassador Prosor. You were the Israeli ambassador to the United Kingdom when all kinds of trade deals were being struck. Does she need to now turn to countries like yours to say, let's make a deal?
Absolutely, Liz. But I think the first thing people should remember is that, yes, she's the second woman prime minister, and it's from the Conservative Party, not from Labour. And she was for staying at the EU, and now she has to move the United Kingdom out. So she has huge challenges. And before coming in, I heard that Boris Johnson is going to become the Foreign Secretary. So that's a hell of a challenge. In any case, Israel. Israel with top technology, cyber, amazing relationship on the entrepreneurial side between Israel and the United Kingdom. I think this is one of the growth engines, and this relationship, from my point of view, especially on the economic, political, and military cooperation, would continue. That's the right thing to do.
It would make absolute sense for Theresa May to do exactly that, strike bargains and strike new relationships with countries like that, Ambassador Gray. So let's talk about the fact that the European Union, pretty much leading the charge, is Francois Hollande saying, too bad, you guys decided to leave us. So now you can't get the trillions of dollars in euros when it comes to the clearing operations that London used to have a real grip on. How do they hold on to their banking jobs that they have? 100,000 of them apparently are related to exactly that, clearing all those derivative and currency trades.
Well, I'm not so sure that Hollande can really Paris can clean that out of London. I just don't think all those moves are going to take place, and I think there are plenty of safeguards for England's banks. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be without friction, and it's going to be a tough job for the new Prime Minister.
Yeah, because it seems like the European Union is not interested in holding hands and singing Kumbaya as we do in this country, Ambassador Prosor, sometimes when we're getting along. But what would it behoove a country like Israel to do? Reach out proactively to the United Kingdom?
Well, we do it all the time, but Israel is a so-called startup nation. The UK now, Theresa May, this is a startup. She has to start up and create a whole range of agreements all over the world. I don't think, with all due respect to Israel, will be #1 on the list, but as the 5th strongest trading partner, I think from a priority list, Israel should be up there, especially because we're on this front line of technologies, and you know, this is the future.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Ambassador Gray, this news, and it's breaking that Boris Johnson has been named this new foreign secretary position. What does that really mean? Because he was definitely part of the exit plan, the Leave group.
Well, I think he said right after the vote that England was still part of Europe, and he doesn't want to see a complete divorce. He knows how big the markets are in Europe for British exports. So I think that's a good move on her part to bring him back in.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing about Israel is that Great Britain can do Europe a great favor if they team up with Israel and make Israel sort of the Silicon Valley of Europe. Europe needs the innovation and the entrepreneurship that Israel has and that England has to some extent.
Yeah.
And so there could be a plus that comes out of all of this that we haven't fully appreciated.
You're making Ron Prosor smile. He likes to hear that. I want to thank both of you, Ambassadors Boyden Gray and Ron Prosor of Israel. We appreciate it.